Hey YouTube, it's Eric. I'm just doing some late night research. I guess it's Monday morning now, 1:17 Monday morning. But I've got a pretty big list here of Jesuit educated and Catholic former chiefs of police. Um, the majority of the list I compiled is from San Francisco and New York, but I even found like heads of the police way back in like England in the 1500s that were Roman Catholic and Jesuit trained. I think it's very interesting, to say the least. Yeah, so I think this will be a pretty interesting video here. Let me see here. So the first Jesuit-educated chief of police that I found was this guy here, Daniel Issam. Looks like he's the current chief of police of St. Louis. I'll get a picture of him here. But he was appointed the 33rd. 33 is like a special Masonic Jesuit number. Daniel Issam was appointed St. Louis's 33rd police commissioner on October 6th, 2008, and that's my birthday, ironically. And is St. Louis's third African American police chief. So he joined the St. Louis Police Department in 1988. And where was Daniel Issam educated? Well, he got his master's in public administration from Jesuit St. Louis University. That's probably helpful. And this is the same Jesuit university that gave Robert Gallo a sword of Ignatius Loyola. And this is the same Jesuit St. Louis University where Charles Zubrod, the founder of chemotherapy, lectured at. Um, there's some interesting. I'll show you at the end of this video. There was a full-on like Catholic fascist involved in the Austrian government who proceeded to lecture at Jesuit St. Louis University for like 20 years. So after so so it looks like Daniel Issam was police chief from 2008 to 2013. Then he got a job at the University of Missouri St. Louis. So he had a Jesuit-educated former police chief getting a job at a public university, and he was appointed director of the Missouri Department of Public Safety in 2014. I'll get a picture of this guy, Daniel Issam, former chief of police of St. Louis, Jesuit trained. There he is, right there. Okay, there's the first one I found. Um, Here's the next one here. This one I didn't see Charles Gain. I didn't see that he was educated. He was I don't think this guy was educated by Jesuits, but I'm gonna show you. There's a picture of Charles Gain with Jim Jones, who I think was a Jesuit, slick Jesuit priest who everyone knows about Jonestown cult. But I'm gonna show you. There's a picture of Charles Gain, this chief of police in San Francisco. He was appointed the mayor George Moscone, who was mayor when Jim Jones rised to be the commissioner of the housing department in San Francisco. George Moscone was educated by the Jesuits at St. Ignatius College. Um, but let me see. Yeah, it doesn't say where Charles Gain was educated, but here's a picture. Yeah, here's the photo of the San Francisco police chief Charles Gain with the fanatical Marxist Jesuit Jim Jones right here. Um, Here's William H. Parker. This guy is the chief of police in Los Angeles. You see, William Henry Parker III was the police chief of the Los Angeles Police Department. It has been called, quote, the Los Angeles' greatest and most controversial police chief. The former headquarters of the LAPD, the Parker Center, was named after him. And William H. Parker was a Catholic. You see, the Parker family were in a clear minority in the distinctly WASPy Los Angeles, WASPy Los Angeles, due to their Catholic religion. Okay, okay, Catholic. Okay, let's see if William H. Parker. There he is. There, the Catholic, and he even has a Roman wreath right on his uniform. Like, look at that, right there, right on the tip of his hat. This is William H. Parker was the Catholic chief of police in Los Angeles. Um, this guy here, Michael Gaffey. Um, Let me see here. This guy was the chief of police in San Francisco from 1951 to 1955. According to the Jesuit University of San Francisco historian John B. McGloin, S.J., Society of Jesus, in 1950, Dragnet, based in Los Angeles, is one of the most popular radio crime dramas. San Francisco Mayor Elmer Robinson asked Michael Gaffey, Catholic police chief Michael Gaffey, to contract the Roman Catholic police chief Michael H. Parker, quote, for tips on how to handle, quote, show business to make a crime-based drama in San Francisco, end quote. The police department is nothing but a mockery. And you see here the Roman Catholic former police chief of San Francisco in the 50s, Michael Gaffey, was buried in the Holy Cross Catholic Cemetery in San Francisco. San Francisco is where the Bohemian Club is. You know, it's where the Knight of Malta, APG, and ENI started. The Bank of America. The Jesuits have a University of San Francisco there. St. Ignatius Prep. There's the Federal Reserve Bank in San Francisco. I don't know if there's a photo of him here. Oh, this looks like the photo here. Yeah, there he is, the Roman Catholic former police chief. And actually, there's a Roman laurel right on the uniform, right on the bill. Okay. I linked all these in the description. Here's an interesting one here. Anthony Ribera is a former police chief in the city and county of San Francisco. This guy was police chief in the 40s, and he had some sexual harassment allegations as well. Interestingly, here's the photo of him, Anthony Ribera. There was a Jesuit. He's teaching at the University of San Francisco right now. He's 70. He's still alive. 79 years old. Um, it's Rivera's second year as chief of police. Department spokeswoman Joan Welch accused Rivera of pressuring her for sexual favors following her firing from the police department's public affairs office in 1993. Anthony Rivera denied the allegations and any rumors of him stepping down as the police chief. And so this guy was a police chief in the 90s when the Jesuit trained Bill Clinton was president at Georgetown. Ribera and the San Francisco Police Department ultimately won the court battle on John Walsh's sexual harassment allegation, but lost on her claim of gender bias, with jury agreeing she had suffered emotional distress and awarded her $56,000 in damages. General public of Anthony Ribera's deteriorated tremendously throughout the court case, and many accused Ribera of spending taxpayer dollars to defend himself, which is an outrage. Look at this. Since his mayoral, he actually ran for mayor in 2003, but since his mayoral race, Anthony Ribera retired from San Francisco politics, is now an assistant professor at the Jesuit University of San Francisco, where he teaches law enforcement at the Jesuit University of San Francisco. That being Anthony Ribera, former police chief of San Francisco in the 90s. Let's see if anyone's in the chat here. Give me a second. Oh, one of my, give me a second here. Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, what's up, SS? How's it going? Oh yeah, it's great. Oh, yeah, I'll call for an uprising. Oh, he's such a satanic panic baiter. Oh, it's crazy. Like the Vigilant Christian's another satanic panic guy. Uh, it's crazy. Yeah, there's a bunch of those guys though on YouTube who are just continuing like the Roman Catholic John DeCamp, Knight of Malta, uh, aide to the CIA, John DeCamp, who wrote the book on the Lincoln cover-up, which was really a Roman Catholic cover-up because that was all to hide that like Roman kids were being molested at like the Boys Town Catholic orphanage in Lincoln, Nebraska. But yeah, I'm gonna keep going through. You see here, these police officers are very prominent. Here's another San Francisco police officer, William J. Quinn, native San Francisco, California. He attended St. Ignatius College, now the Jesuit University of San Francisco, graduating in 1925. He served as the chief of police, William J. Quinn, in San Francisco from 1929 until February 1940. Chief Quinn presided over the modernization of the San Francisco Police Department and is credited with establishing its first juvenile bureau and putting radios in police cars. He was chief during the Jesse Scott Hughes murder and the trial of Frank Egan in the 1934 San Francisco general strike. And you see, Quinn was educated by the Jesuits, and he was buried at the Holy Cross Cemetery. So you have another chief of police of San Francisco, educated by the Jesuits, chief from 1929 to 1940, William J. Quinn. And this is just proof that the police is nothing but like a secular branch of the Inquisition. You can get a picture of this guy here. Police Chief William Quinn. Oh, there's the image here. There he is, Jesuit trained police chief of San Francisco, William J. Quinn. San Francisco literally is a Jesuit fortress. Yeah, William Randolph Hearst, papal count, came up in San Francisco. Frank N. Belgrano, the Bohemian Club member, former commander of the American Legion, came up in San Francisco. I call him, yeah, he is kind of like he is like a virus in a sense. And yeah, and that's what I'm saying. He attacks like Miley Cyrus and like Justin Bieber, like they're like the controllers of the New World Order. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? And a lot of that, a lot of what he does too, is to hide that a lot of celebrities like are educated at Jesuit schools, like Denzel Washington, for instance, Mila Kunis, Bradley Cooper, Scott Eastwood, etc. Okay, continuing here. The next Jesuit-educated police chief, another one from San Francisco, Francis Michael Jordan, is an American politician, former police chief, and a former mayor of San Francisco, and is a foundation executive. You got a former San Francisco mayor and police chief, Frank Jordan. See, Frank Jordan he graduated from the Catholic Sacred Heart High School and got a political science and government degree from the Jesuit University of San Francisco. He was the 40th mayor during the 90s when the Jesuit trained Bill Clinton was in office. Here, before becoming mayor, Jesuit trained Frank Jordan served as the chief of the San Francisco Police Department from 1986 to 1990, at which point he decided to run for mayor. He joined the force in 1957 and was named chief of police by then Roman Catholic Dianne Feinstein. That's funny. Rabid gun grabber Dianne Feinstein. Here's another one from San Francisco. Fred H. Lau, former chief of police from San Francisco from 1996 to 1992, and now he's the current TSA Federal Security Director of the San Francisco International Airport. This guy, I didn't see any Jesuit breadcrumbs, but he is a member of an American Legion post, which has the Roman laurel wreath in their logo. One of the founders of the American Legion was Papal Knight William Donovan. The American Legion made the Jesuit-educated Ferdinand Foch the head uh, commander, French general of the Supreme Allied Command in World War One. Ferdinand Foch, Jesuit trained, had a brother that was a Jesuit priest, was made an honorary commander of the American Legion. Another former uh, uh, commander of the American Legion, Edward A. Hayes, from 1933 to 1934, was trained by the Jesuits at St. Louis University. And the American Legion is like a fascist organization that's been controlled by the Jesuits throughout. Frank N. Belgrano was one time the commander, uh, executive vice president of Bank of America, then became the president of the Transamerica Corporation. He was president of Transamerica for over 20 years. There's now a Frank N. Belgrano. He was also a Bohemian Club member. There's a Frank N. Belgrano Award given out by the Boy Scouts. But you have a former chief of police here was in the American Legion. You see here, Fred H. Lau. Okay. Um, yeah, he didn't go to a Jesuit school. Maybe a Catholic, but it doesn't say that on his wiki page. This guy, David Clark, is like now he's like this guy's like the Fox News sheriff. David Clark. You see here, he was the sheriff of Milwaukee County, Wisconsin from 2002 to 2017. Clark frequently appears as a guest on Fox News. You see, Fox News is literally flooded by Roman Catholics. Sean Hannity, Roman Catholic. Bill O'Reilly, Roman Catholic. Brett Baer, Roman Catholic, Jesuit trained. Kimberly Guilfoyle, Roman Catholic, Jesuit trained. Rupert Murdoch, who actually owns Fox News, is a Roman Catholic and was given the Vatican Knight of Saint Sylvester or Saint Gregory. You see here, David Clark, the so-called celebrity sheriff. He's an avid supporter of Donald Trump. You see, David Clark went to Marquette University High School, a private all-male Jesuit Roman Catholic school. You look at that. Okay, and he joined the Milwaukee Police Force in 1978, and then became chief of police, or they became the sheriff of Milwaukee County for 15 years from 2002 to 2017. The Fox News Jesuit-educated sheriff David Clark. Let me see here. The guy. Oh yeah, I saw. Yeah, I saw. Yeah, I get that quite a bit, honestly. Like, You know, lots of those, lots of devout Christians, are their heads in the right place, but I think they're too, they see I don't know. I get that a lot. I think you mentioned the hat. Like, there's been like 3 or 4 people that have called me out for being a shill just because I wear a Dallas Cowboys hat. Which, I think it's kind of silly if you look at the material I'm putting out. But just continuing here, Andrea J. Cabral is Massachusetts Secretary of Public Safety right now. She was the sheriff of Suffolk County, Massachusetts from 2002 to 2013. Andrea J. Cabral, and she went to Jesuit Boston College right there. Okay, make this up. Here's another Jesuit educated former sheriff. She was the sheriff of Suffolk County, Massachusetts, and then she was on the Massachusetts Board of Public Safety. There she is right here. Andrea Cabral, Jesuit trained at Boston College. There she is with the Suffolk County Sheriff's Department behind her right there. Um, okay, continuing. Mark C. Curran is the current sheriff. Oh yeah. Actually, here's another one here. Current sheriff of Lake County, Illinois. I think this is This is like a suburb of Chicago. Okay, you see Mark Curran. Um, he was educated at Spring Hill College, which is a Jesuit university in Mobile, and he graduated from the Jesuit Loyola Academy in Chicago. This guy was double dipped Jesuit trained. The current sheriff of Lake Hill County, Illinois, Mark Curran. Get a photo of this guy. Yeah, there he is, the Jesuit educated sheriff. Okay, there is Lake Hill County, or Lake County, Illinois. Okay, continuing. Got a pretty big list here. Terrence W. Grainer is the former law enforcement officer, and he's the 38th Sergeant at Arms of the United States Senate. He served from 2007 to 2014. Yeah, he continued his law enforcement career in Washington, D.C. He was a Republican candidate for the Cook County State Attorney. You see here, he went to the Catholic DePaul University, which is like one of the biggest Catholic universities in America, founded in 1898, I believe. Um, so this guy was a Roman Catholic who was or he served as the Chicago State. He was in the Chicago. I think he was the chief of police. Yeah, he was the Illinois State Police in 1991 to 1998. He was in the Chicago Police Department for over 20 years, Roman Catholic. And he was Terrence William Gaynor was the Roman Catholic, was the Sergeant at Arms of the United States Senate from 2007 to 2014. Patrick V. Murphy, see here, served as a top law enforcement executive in New York City, Detroit, Washington, D.C., and Syracuse, New York. He created the Police Executive Research Forum, an organization of police executives from the nation's largest city, county, and state law enforcement agencies, and led the Police Foundation in a period when it published pivotal reports on issues ranging from the police use of deadly force to the efficient use of patrols resources. See, interesting here. He was given Yeah, he was mentioned by the FBI bulletin. We see here Patrick V. Murphy was educated in a Catholic elementary schools, Catholic elementary and high schools, and he went to the Roman Catholic St. John's University. Okay. Um, he became the deputy chief in the New York City Police Department. Okay. He was working to reform the Washington Police Department. You see here, and this guy here, Patrick V. Murphy, as I read up top, he founded the Police Executive Research Forum. Here's this guy's Roman Catholic. There he is. He was also the chief of police of Syracuse, New York, as well. Yeah, it's undeniable proof that like the police force is a secular branch of the Inquisition. Actually, SS 1964. Did you see this picture? J. Edgar Hoover was given. I did a little write up on this. Actually, here this is just if you go to my Jesuit World Order blog, yeah, J. Edgar Hoover was given a sword of Ignatius Loyola, the director of the FBI, for 50 years. And he was also given an honorary degree from Jesuit Georgetown in 1939. made a master mason, and he was a mason of like five different Masonic branches. But I know J. Edgar Hoover was a 33rd degree master mason. But yeah, there is this story here. Yeah, so the FBI director J. Edgar Hoover will get the Sword of Loyola, 1964, and you can actually see a picture of this. If you haven't seen this picture, SS 1964, you might. This is a revealing photo here. There's J. Edgar Hoover holding his Sword of Loyola. Would you look at that? There's a Jesuit right beside him. Look at that. 1964. There's another photo of it. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen that photo there. Let me see here. Terrence Grainer, Patrick Murphy. Actually, this guy here, George Vincent McLaughlin. This was another Jesuit connection here. This is going to New York City now. So George Vincent McLaughlin was the New York City Police Commissioner from January 1st, 1926 to 1927. He was also the president of the Brooklyn Trust Company and he was the vice chairman of the Triborough Bridge and Tunnel Authority. McLaughlin had an Irish American heritage. I wonder if this guy was related to the Jesuit priest John McLaughlin, who was Richard Nixon's speechwriter and the founder of the McLaughlin Group. George Vincent McLaughlin served as New York Police Commissioner 1926 to 1927. Okay, so the president of the Brooklyn Trust Company, as I mentioned, he was a delegate to the 1952 Democratic Convention. But look at this. In 1947, he was awarded an honorary degree from Fordham University, Jesuit Fordham University. Former New York Police Chief George Vincent McLaughlin. Okay, I'll get a photo of him here. Chief of Police from 1926 to 1927. The New York Police Department was actually created by Theodore Roosevelt, which I thought was really interesting. Theodore Roosevelt had a cousin who was a Catholic priest at Jesuit Fordham University, that being James Roosevelt Bailey. Here's George Vincent McLaughlin right here. He got a Jesuit honorary degree, Roman Catholic, Irish, former Chief of Police of New York City. There he is. Um, Here's another chief of police from New York City. This is more recent here. This guy was the chief of police from 2000 to 2001, and he was New York City's Corrections Department commissioner and first deputy overseeing the New York City's jail system from 1995 to 2000. So this guy would have been the chief of police during 9/11. He was also the Minister of Interior of Iraq from acting in office in 2003. Chief executive of the Knight of Malta, Paul Bremer. Okay. You see here, you go down to Bernie Kirk. Okay, he's the this guy's also he worked for the Department of Homeland Security, and this guy actually like was I don't know if he actually went to jail, but he was sentenced to 4 years in prison for ethics. You see here, he pleaded guilty to the Bronx Supreme Court on two unrelated ethics violations. You see your early life. You go to Bernard Kirk. Uh, where was this here? Okay, Kirk was raised in a Catholic. Yeah, so Kirk was raised Catholic and grew up in Paterson, New Jersey. That might be the only one here. Yeah, I think that was just the connection. Or awards and honors. He was honored by he was given a Knight of the Order of the British Empire by the so-called Protestant Queen Elizabeth II, who is related to the former Grand Master of the Knights of Malta, Andrew Bertie. Yeah, so this guy was the chief of police in New York City, who was a Catholic, a Knight of the British Empire, Bernie Kirk. Another Roman Catholic former police commissioner in New York City here, Raymond Kelly. He was the 37th and 41st police commissioner of New York City. He was police commissioner from 1992 to 1994, and again from 2002 to 2013. Okay. You see, actually, I thought this interesting here. It's after his handling of the World Trade Center bombing in 1993, he was mentioned for the first time as a possible candidate for FBI director. After Raymond Kelly turned down the position, the devout Catholic Opus Dei Louis Joseph Frey was then appointed. who sent his son to Jesuit Georgetown University. You see here Raymond Kelly. Actually, the New York Senator Chuck Schumer, who you can watch the video on my channel. Chuck Schumer like loves the Pope. Uh, when Pope Francis came to America in 2015, Chuck Schumer saying that he loved the Pope even more than the Jesuit trained devout Catholic Patrick Leahy, who's been in the United States Senate from Vermont for over 25 years. Raymond Kelly, he was also he worked for Cushman and Wakefield, the New York City commercial real estate firm. But Raymond Kelly went to Manhattan College, which is Roman Catholic, and he went to St. John's University, which is Roman Catholic, and he has honorary degrees from Roman Catholics, St. John's University, the Roman Catholic St. Thomas Aquinas College, the Roman Catholic University of America, and is the Marist College Roman? I think this Marist College is Roman Catholic, and the College of the Saint Rose is Catholic, founded by the Sisters of the Carillon de Lette. Yeah. Yeah, so this guy was a devout Catholic here. Raymond Kelly, twice he was the police commissioner of New York City. Oh, actually, Liquid Smooth. Actually, hey, how's it going, Chris? Nice to see you, man. Actually, Liquid Smooth. If you're, this is a good article post I put together that proves, like, without a doubt, that the Roman Catholic Church controls Hollywood, not the Jews. But it's pretty long. It goes into the comment section, but this is titled "A Jesuit Daniel A. Lord S.J. drafted the 1930 Hollywood production code." And like I quote, and actually I you can I reposted this article in full, the Jesuit contribution to theater done by Johns Hopkins University. You can read that here. But in this article, here I'll just show you the book I have. I have the autobiography of the Jesuit Daniel A. Lord, who drafted the production code. Here I'll show you. Here it is. Here, the autobiography of Daniel A. Lord, S.J. Played by the ear. And there's another really good book. You can find it on Library Genesis or libgen.io, but it's called Hollywood Censor, Joseph I. Breen and the Production Code Administration. Joseph Ignatius Breen was Jesuit trained. He even had a brother that was a full-on Jesuit. Joseph Ignatius Breen also worked for the National Catholic Welfare Conference. He even wrote in the Jesuit America magazine under a pseudonym, Eugene Ware. Joseph Ignatius Breen was commissioned as the head of the Production Code Administration to actually enforce the code that the Jesuit Daniel A. Lord wrote. And like Daniel A. Lord writes in this book that like he was the one who wrote the code, like it was him. And the reason it was called the Hayes Code is because they wanted to hide the fact that a Jesuit wrote the code. And I quote in the article, you can find the Will H. Hayes memoirs on archive.org, but Will H. Hayes was in communication with Pope Pius XII. Will H. Hayes was even talking to Eugenio Pacelli about the Pro Dio movement. Will H. Hayes was even present at the Eucharist Congress in Chicago in 1926, which saw Cardinal Mundelein actually working with the Fox Film Corporation. Fox like filmed the Catholic Eucharist Congress at the Soldier Field in 1926, and who like the Chicago Bears, who were in Soldier Field, like who was the founder of the Chicago Bears? It was George Papa Bear Hollis, devout Catholic, who was educated by the Jesuits at Loyola University. To get back to Roman Catholic police chiefs, just the theme of the video. But yeah, I recommend. I'll link this in the description. This article post on Hollywood. And let's see here. Where was I? Patrick Murphy, George McLaughlin, Bernard Carrick. Yeah, okay, I got Bernard Carrick. This guy. Okay, here. Brenda Leah Johnson. Okay. Oh, actually, so this is kind of funny here. So this is a fictional. So this is going into like the Jesuit theater world here. It's a perfect transition from Hollywood. So this character here, Brenda Leah Johnson, is portrayed by the actress Kyra Sedgwick, right here. Let's see if this actress here was educated by the Jesuits. Let's just see. No, apparently she's Episcopalian and half Jewish. Perfect character to play this role. But Brenda Leah Johnson, the deputy chief of police in the TNT show The Closer, uh, went to Jesuit Georgetown University. So you see the chiefs of police and even the fiction go to Georgetown. So here, Brenda graduated from Georgetown University. She spent 7 years with the Central Intelligence Agency. 4 years with the Metropolitan Police Department of Columbia and 3.5 years with the Atlanta Police Department. While living in Washington, D.C., Brenda was trained by an interrogator by the CIA. After joining the MPD, she became involved with the married boss, Will Pope. You see, like, even in the so the character Brenda Lee Johnson, who's the police chief in the of LA and TNT show, The Closer, was trained by the Jesuits at Georgetown. Yeah, that's funny. But going back here to the real police world, um, this is outside of America. This is Anita Granera. She was a former Sandinista revolutionary and former Director General of the National Police of Nicaragua. She was the chief of the National Police from September 5th, 2006 to April 7th, 2008. And look, she went to Jesuit Georgetown University. Okay. And then she decided to become a Catholic nun and began her novitiate with the Sisters of Assumption. Okay. In Guatemala City. A devout Roman Catholic, Jesuit trained director of the National Police of Nicaragua for 12 years, Amita Granera Sacasa. um, Brenda Leah Johnson. Oh, yeah, I already showed you there. Here's a Jesuit trained one in San Francisco. Heather J. Fong, pictured here on the left. Okay. She was the first woman to lead the San Francisco Police Department and the first Asian American woman to head a major metropolitan police force. She is also the second Asian American police chief in the San Francisco Police Department, the other being the American Legion member Fred H. Lau, which I already mentioned. American Legion member. She was reassigned by Jesuit trained at Santa Clara Gavin Newsom to become the police chief, and then she served as in the Department of Homeland Security. How fitting. But you see Heather J. Fong on the left went to the Jesuit University of San Francisco, right there. University of San Francisco is a Jesuit Catholic university. Yeah. Um, Actually, this is out in Wales. Look at this. You might find this interesting, SS. And this is a. I don't know if this. I don't know if there's other like Christian police guilds, but this in Wales. There's a Catholic Police Guild of England. Well, it's of England and Wales. You see, the Catholic Police Guild was founded in 1914 as the Metropolitan and City Catholic Police Guild. This was an association for Catholic policemen and women and approved by the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Westminster. The patron saint of the Catholic Police Guild is Saint Michael the Archangel. Oh, how fitting. That's cute. You see here, that's the logo of the Catholic Police Guild right here. And interestingly, there's an interesting connection on the Wikipedia. In 1982, Michael Jeffers, a chief superintendent of the Metropolitan Police, as well as a chairman of the Catholic Police Guild, was made a Knight St. Gregory by Cardinal Basil Hume in recognition of his efforts leading the stewarding. Um, Catholic Police Guild members often help with the stewarding of at Westminster's Cathedral, and every October, Guild members carry out the statue of Our Lady in procession from Westminster Cathedral to Brompton Oratory on behalf of the Rosary Crusade of Reparation. Both in 1982 with the visit of Pope John Paul II and 2010 with the visit of Pope Benedict XVI, the Catholic Police Guild assisted with the stewarding. Interestingly, the Catholic Police Guild even undertakes biannual pilgrimages to various important holy places, including Rome, the Holy Land, Fatima, Portugal, Santiago de Compostela in Spain, and in Poland. In 1985, the Catholic Police Guild went on a pilgrimage to Rome to celebrate its 70th year of foundation and were addressed by Pope John Paul II on February 12th, April 1985. I think there's actually, I'll get some photos of this Catholic Police Guild here. I think there's some pressure actually in the United States right now to get like an American Catholic Police Guild going up and running. So there it is, Catholic Police Guild. Look at all these Roman Catholic police officers with the archbishops. Look at that. Here's another photo there. Here it looks like military officer. Here's a photo of the Catholic Police Guild of England and Wales. And here's a photo here. Look at this. Holy cow! Look at with the archbishop. More high level police officers in Wales and England. And actually, I'm pretty sure. Actually, I'll show you this. This is the police that's right beside me. Okay, and look at there's a Roman laurel wreath in the Niagara Falls, Ontario Police Department. Niagara Falls. Let me find you the logo here. Uh, yeah, look at this. You can see that Roman laurel wreath. I bet it's a ginormous amount of police agencies have this Roman laurel wreath right there. Every time like I see a police officer just driving around the streets near my house, like I'm reminded that the police are a secular branch of the Inquisition with the symbolism right on the police uniforms. Look at that. Roman laurel wreath. Okay. Actually, I'm pretty sure there's one in England that's like it has like a laurel wreath and an inverted pentagram. Victoria. Oh, my bad spelling there. Jeez. uh, logo. Yeah, look at this. Victoria Police in England. They have the Roman laurel right in the background with an inverted pentagram right here, just to to seal it off. Yeah, I'd like to know that too, to be honest, because it's very compartmentalized. This is going up to Canada here. William Joseph McCormick was the chief of police of the Metro Toronto Police from 1989 to 1995. He succeeded Jack Marcus. Early in his life, William J. McCormick was a Marine radio operator and the British colonial police officer before coming to Canada in the 50s. You see here, Bill McCormick was the first Catholic to become the chief of the Metropolitan Police. He was given a Queen Elizabeth Jubilee Medal and the Police Exemplary Service Medal in Canada. I'll get a photo of this guy here. This guy is a Roman Catholic chief of police in Toronto from 1989 to 1995. Actually, Scotland. Actually, now you mention that SS Scott. There's a Catholic police guild in Scotland. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, here's the former Catholic chief of police in Toronto, William McCormick. Let me see, Catholic Scotland, Catholic police. Actually, the Catholic Police Guild of Scotland. I think it used to exist. Yeah, Catholic Police Guild used to exist in Scotland. In recent years, the guild in this country, Scotland, ceased to operate. However, negotiations are currently underway to revive the Catholic Police Guild in Scotland. Oh, would you look at that? That's funny. Um, Here's another one here. Francis W.H. Adams was an American lawyer who served as a New York Police Commissioner from 1954 to 1955 when Robert Wagner Jr., the Knight of Malta Papal Chamberlain, former future personal representative to the Vatican of Jimmy Carter, was mayor of New York, that being Robert Wagner Jr. But his chief of police from 1954 to 1955, Francis W.H. Matthews, graduated from the Jesuit Fordham Law School in 1928. You look at that. Then he became a United States attorney. He also served on the Warren Commission, what was part of the Jesuit cover-up of the assassination of JFK. Another Jesuit connection to the Warren Commission, former New York City Police Commissioner from 1954 to 1955, Jesuit-trained Francis W.H. Matthews at Fordham. There he is there, the former police commissioner of New York City. When the papal knight Robert Wagner Jr. was running New York. Just like get a papal knight, Rudolph Giuliani was mayor when 9/11 took place. I already did William H. Parker. Here's James Flanagan. This is a British. This is going over to. This is going to. Let me see here. Yeah, this is Northern Ireland Police. So this is James Flanagan, Sir James Bernard Flanagan. And Northern Ireland is historically Roman Protestant country. But James Flanagan, Knight of the British Empire, was the only Roman Catholic chief constable of the Royal Ulster Consultatory. I can't pronounce that right now. He was the chief constable of the Royal Ulster Police. He was also later a Roman Catholic deputy chief constable, Michael McTiernan. You see here, known as Jamie Flanagan. He became, let's see here, received a knighthood, targeted by Republicans while attending mass. That's funny. Uh, yeah, this guy was a Roman Catholic chief of police in Northern Ireland, and historically Protestant. country. Let me see here if I can photo of him. That's Sir James Flanagan. There he is, Chief Constable of Ulster Police, Sir James Flanagan, Roman Catholic. Um, where was I at here? The farm. Actually, this guy. You guys remember the Sheriff Joro? Oh, Sheriff. What was this guy? Sheriff Joe Arpaio, sheriff in Arizona, current governor of Arizona, Steve Ducey, educated by the Jesuits at like the Jesuit school in Toledo, Ohio. But Sheriff Joe Arpaio quoted here, quote, "I would love to meet with the Pope, and I have no concern about going to Mexico." End quote. Well, that's why, because you're a devout Catholic. You'll feel right at home in Mexico. Sheriff Joe Arpaio. William Roper. This is interesting here. William Roper was an English lawyer and a member of the Parliament. He married the daughter of Saint Thomas More, who is the patron saint of all judges and lawyers now. Saint Thomas More. There's a Saint Thomas More Society at Yale University. He wrote his book, The Utopia, which was one of like the ideological forerunners of communism. But interestingly, so we have Sir William Roper was married to the daughter of Sir Thomas More, Margaret Roper. Sir William Roper was the High Sheriff of Kent from 1554 to 1555. And you see here, uh, he was Catholic. He remained a Roman Catholic his entire life. And he was permitted. So even though he was a Roman Catholic, he was William Roper was permitted to retain his office of the pro-hortatory of the Court of the King's Bench after the ascension of the Protestant Elizabeth I. However, his Roman Catholic William Roper's diatribe against Elizabeth's late mother Anne Boleyn in his biography of Sir Thomas More earned him the enmity of many Elizabethan loyalists and Protestants. And this guy here wrote a biography on St. Thomas More, Roman Catholic William Roper, High Sheriff of Kent. He had Catholics in control of the sheriff's office going back to the 1500s. Okay, so this Sir William Roper's proof of that. Um, Sarah Watson. Actually, now you mentioned Mithra, there's lots of information. I read about this in Helena Blavatsky's work, Isis Unveiled. But a lot of the Roman, or the cult of Mithra, that's what it was known as back in like the 300s, 300, even like some say the cult of Mithra goes before Christ even, but it was in around that time when Emperor Julian was the emperor of the Roman Empire. But the cult of Mithras, like many Roman statesmen, were in the cult of Mithras, and they said like they would do their rituals like at the Vatican, like underground. They had like kind of like secret tunnelways that they would perform their rituals in. And like, well, Manly P. Hall says like there was even I forget the name of this Roman emperor. He said this one Roman emperor like when he was performing the Mithraic like mystery religion rituals that he even killed like two of the people that like were present because he had to like yield a sword and like he had to like cut a bunch of stuff with the sword. Yeah, the Roman Empire. Yeah, yeah. There's lots of information kind of showing how like the early Romans there's kind of like a cult of Mithras that popped up in the Roman Empire. Here's another interesting connection with the police departments. This is the Financial Integrity Network, which I recommend you look into this organization because it's absolutely loaded. That being the Financial Integrity Network. A senior associate at the Financial Integrity Network, David Arshad, was trained at Jesuit Georgetown and was a CIA officer for over 30 years and was a interim director of the Defense Intelligence Agency. David Shedd was also the author of the Executive Order 12333, which gives more oversight to intelligence agencies. And this financial integrity network is actually connected to the Institute of Religious Works via the two co-founders. You can find all that information on this website here. But as an associate at the Financial Integrity Network, Sarah Watson was trained by Jesuits at Georgetown University, and she was the CIO of the New York City Police Department. Yeah. Um, Let me see here. Miss Watson served in the private sector as a part of a business and strategic team, advising as a Fortune 50 CEO in the office of the CIO of the New York City Police Department. Okay, there it is. So you see, so we have Jesuit. The Jesuits are all over. They're connected all over to these police departments. And I linked this article here. The post after the 1990 National Defense Authorization Act, a lot of police departments they were actually getting like military surplus equipment, and that's why you saw, for instance, during like the Ferguson riots, that cops literally looked like they were driving like military Humvees down the streets. Yeah. So yeah, I recommend you check out that article. Um, yeah, I think that's all of them that I found here. Yeah, these are all pictures of. Yeah, this is as mentioned earlier in the video. This is the chief of police, Charles Gaine, with the fanatical cult leader Jim Jones. Who Jim Jones, according to FBI documents, repeatedly said that the ends justify the means, a Jesuit maxim. And I did a couple videos down in my feed on the Jonestown uh, psyop, or yeah, the whole Jonestown incident, and they're worth checking out. The whole ideology of Jonestown was modeled off a Jesuit reduction in Paraguay, with Jim Jones being the Jesuit spiritual shepherd in the reduction. It was literally to a T a Jesuit reduction from Paraguay. Just like back in the 1600s, the Jesuits would terrify the Guaranian Indians into remaining in the compound by purporting them by saying that the Spaniards are going to come to the compound and like rape all the women and children. They're gonna torture us. They're gonna throw us into concentration camps, and that's exactly what Jim Jones was saying to his Jonestown cult followers. They're saying that the U.S. government's going to come if you leave the compound, that the U.S. government's going to come and like kill you and like rape you and throw you into a concentration camp and stuff like that. And just like how in the Paraguayan reductions, like it was considered like the Jesuits put the Indians into like an incredible state of superstitions, whereby like the Indians viewed the Jesuits as like gods and as like spiritual shepherds. And like Jim Jones, you can hear it on tape. Like Jim Jones was getting his followers to call him God. Like it's pretty sick stuff, but it's important. It's an important study. And it's interestingly, there's another Jonestown that actually popped up called Hilltown, right around the same time, by a guy named Rabbi Simeon Hill. If you just type in Hilltown, Jonestown, you'll find information on it. But this rabbi cult leader who was leading this movement in the 1970s down in Guyana, this Black Hebrew Israelite cult, came back and actually was then contracted by the CIA and given American citizenship. Yeah, Jim Jones was a CIA asset the whole time. That's right. Jim Jones, one of his childhood friends, actually, Dan Mitrione, was like a CIA agent. And Jim Jones like actually went to Brazil in the '60s. Really interestingly, I think on like a CIA mission. You can hear Jim Jones on tape, actually, the FBI tape, when like uh, when the so-called mass punch drinking was going around. What is going on, which was really just people were being killed. They were getting needles forced into their backs. The Guyanese medical staff found bullet holes in people, but you can hear Jim Jones on tape saying, "Get Dwyer out of here. Get Dwyer down to the East House." And Richard Dwyer was actually like a known CIA officer who was stationed in Guyana. So Jim Jones is saying like, "Get the CIA officer Dwyer out of here," which is just very telling and just proof. I think that Jim Jones was a CIA asset the entire time. Yeah, I think I'm gonna cut the video here. Yeah, they are, and actually, I got to, yeah, they absolutely are, and I'm gonna do a future video on like the recent, what kind of like I'm not gonna go all the way back, but like I've been studying the history of like Vatican Islamic relations since Benedict XV and like the dissolving of the Ottoman Empire. I found that Benedict XV actually invested lots of Vatican dollars into Turkish government bonds around that time, and it's just very intriguing. I think I think there's no doubt that at this moment Islam is controlled by the Catholic Church. And actually, I don't know if you know this. I'll leave the video off here. The head of or Saddam Hussein, president of Iraq, while 9/11 was going on, he was used as like the boogeyman post 9/11. But Saddam Hussein was in the Spanish Catholic Order of Isabella the Catholic. Yeah, it was called the Order of Isabella the Catholic, and Saddam Hussein was a member of that, which I thought was really interesting and just proof that Islam at this point is in submission to the Catholic Church. But actually, I'm pretty sure that's even on. Video's been long. I'll pull it up now here. I'll show you. Yeah, this is the order here. The Order of Isabella the Catholic. I'm pretty sure Saddam Hussein was given. Um, Let me see here. Okay, recipients of the. Okay, there's a page here. Recipients of the Order of Isabella the Catholic. Where is it here? Okay. Pretty sure Saddam Hussein is on here. Okay, let me see here. H. I swear, when I did a video on this, Saddam Hussein was on this list. Let me see if I can type. If I can find this. Oh, funny. Felipe Calderon, the former president of Mexico, was in this. Saddam Hussein order. Okay, Order of Isabella the Catholic. Yeah, so here, so Saddam Hussein is sourced here. Um, Translate. See if I can translate this website here. Yeah, it says here the Spanish government decided to order Saddam Hussein the Royal Order of Isabella the Catholic for quote for Saddam Hussein's quote extraordinary behavior for the benefit of Spain. Unquote. I'll link this in the description. Yeah, this is the source here that Saddam Hussein was given the. Yeah, you see here Saddam Hussein and the medal he never talked about. I wonder why he never talked about it because it showed that showed the entire post crusade in Iraq was a dialectic on both sides. Um, like he was? Actually, that's fascinating. See if anything pops up here. What surprised me, like, well, I know, like, the CIA, Osama bin Laden was trained by the CIA in Saudi Arabia. Then he was used, the Mujahideen were used by the CIA in the Afghanistan's war against the Soviet Union. Yeah, wow, great stuff. Thanks for that information. I'm going to look more into the Saddam Hussein stuff. Yeah, I'll link this Saddam Hussein Order of Isabella the Catholic uh, link in the description here. But yeah, that's all for this one, YouTube. Hope you enjoyed it. I think I'm gonna do this is just part one, but I think it's undeniable proof in this video that the Jesuits control the police forces undeniably. I think I covered over 15 Jesuit trained or Catholic former chiefs of police in this video. But take care, man. Take care, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and all the best. Namaste.